There is a moment in life when you quietly realize you are not stuck. You are repeating the same fears, the same reactions, the same heaviness you swore you'd escape. And the more you try to rebuild yourself, the more life drags you back into the old version of you. But here's the paradox no one warns you about. Nothing changes until the part of you that fears change finally dies. Buddhism calls this the inner reset, the shift where disciplined habits replace old survival patterns. Before we continue, subscribe to Deep Wisdom, where every video opens a doorway into calm, clarity, and ancient Buddhist teachings you will not find anywhere else. And stay till the end, because the final bonus habit is the one silent law that resets your entire life. Yet almost no one ever discovers it. 1. Stop negotiating with your old self. What if nothing in your life has changed because you keep asking permission from the same version of yourself that's been holding you back? The mind does this quietly, convincing you that change must wait for the right time. But Buddhism reminds us, transformation begins when excuses end. And tonight, as if sitting beside a candle's warm glow, I want you to hear this truth gently. You cannot rebuild your life while still protecting the identity that broke it. In Buddhist teachings, the self is not a fixed statue, it is a river. Yet we cling to the bank, believing the past version of who we were must continue to guide our future. But no river carries old water forward. Just like a snake never negotiates with its old skin, it simply sheds what no longer grows with it. This is the heart of habit number 1. Stop negotiating with the person you used to be. Think about today's world. How often do we postpone change because the old self whispers, "Stay comfortable, not now, maybe tomorrow." In relationships, in career decisions, in our emotional growth, the old self prefers safety over evolution. And without noticing, we begin protecting our patterns instead of protecting our peace. You may want a calmer mind, a more disciplined life, a stronger sense of purpose, yet the old you still controls the doorway. So how do you apply this Buddhist habit in real life? Begin by noticing the excuses that rise like smoke when discomfort appears. You don't need to fight them. You simply observe and choose differently. Create small rituals that anchor the new self. A moment of breathing before reacting, a pause before an old habit returns, a conscious choice to act from clarity rather than memory. This is how you teach the mind that a new life is being built, one decision at a time. Let me give you a picture. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the old you as a thin layer cracking off your body, like dry soil breaking away to reveal living earth beneath. Feel how weightless you become without those familiar patterns. Notice the relief in letting go of someone you no longer wish to carry. The transformation you seek begins the moment you stop negotiating with what you've already outgrown. Ask yourself softly, what excuses do you repeat most? What identity do you fear leaving behind? And what would happen if you stopped negotiating today? Remember this moral line. Your life doesn't shift because you wish for change. Your life shifts the moment you choose to stop being the person who resists it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I am unstoppable." Guard your focus like a sacred flame. If your attention is the architect of your destiny, why let the world steal it so carelessly? Hold that question like a bell in a quiet room and listen for the answer. Where your focus rests, your future grows. Tonight, sit with that line as if someone has placed a small flame in your palm, fragile, alive, asking only for gentle protection. In Buddhist terms, attention is not mere habit, it is the training ground of the mind. We scatter it across screens, gossip, worries about tomorrow, and regrets from yesterday, and wonder why our lives feel hollow of meaning. Imagine focus as a candle in the wind. One careless moment and it flickers, one distraction and it dies. The habit you build around attention becomes the soil from which your days and your destiny will sprout. Picture now cupping your hands around a flame in the dark. Feel the instinct to protect it. That instinct is not vanity, it is wisdom. Start small. Guard the first hour of your morning like a sacred vow. No scrolling, no noise, only breath, and a single intention. Name one task for the day and defend it until it is done. Practice single tasking as if each action is an offering. Each finished act is a pebble placed deliberately on the path you are creating. These are not heroic acts, they are simple promises to yourself. In practical life, set boundaries that honor attention. Reduce the number of times you check your phone, choose 3 deep activities a day instead of 30 shallow ones, and take micro pauses, 3 mindful breaths, before every important decision. Notice who or what currently owns your attention. Is it a feed, a fear, an endless to-do list? Ask which flame inside you is dimming. Curiosity, compassion, presence, and take one small step to restore it. There is a hidden consequence most people miss. When you guard your focus, you do not only gain productivity, you reclaim empathy, clarity, and creative courage. The mind, sharpened by protection, becomes kinder, because it no longer lurches from impulse to impulse. It chooses with care. So the practice of guarding your attention is also a practice in becoming more awake, more compassionate, more free. Reflect softly now. Who or what currently owns your attention? What flame in you is dying because you are distracted? What would your life look like with a guarded focus? Remember this final truth. Your future will not arrive by accident. It grows where your attention is planted and tended. 3. Become consistent like a monk, not motivated like a beginner. Why do monks thrive in silence while the world collapses under distraction? Hold that question gently, as if turning a small stone in your hand. The truth is simple, yet easily forgotten. Ritual is stronger than inspiration. Motivation rises and falls like weather, but consistency builds the person you become. This is the essence of the 3rd Buddhist habit, to live with steadiness, not intensity. In the monastic life, greatness is not found in dramatic moments, but in repeated ones. A monk does not wait to feel ready. He allows disciplined rituals to sculpt his mind. Think of a river carving through mountains. It does not rush, it does not roar, it simply persists, and through that persistence, stone itself yields. In the same way, your life is reshaped not by bursts of motivation, but by the quiet repetition of small behaviors. In the modern world, we often chase explosive beginnings. We start with fire, then fade into smoke. We expect transformation from a single inspired night, a single decision, a single spark. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, the spark is not the victory. The tending of the flame is. If you look closely at your life, the places where you suffer most are often the places where consistency breaks. Your peace, your health, your ambitions. They don't fail because you're incapable, but because you leave the path each time the journey becomes ordinary. So, how do you build monk-like consistency? Begin small. Visualize yourself placing a small stone on a path every morning. One meaningful action repeated. Over months, a sacred road appears beneath your feet. Create rituals, a morning of silence before the world enters, a fixed time for learning, a nightly moment to release the day. Let these rituals be non-negotiable, not because they are dramatic, but because they are sacred. Consistency is not punishment, it is liberation. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of starting over. It shapes an identity rooted in reliability and calm strength. And once identity shifts, habits follow naturally. Ask yourself softly, where does your consistency break most often? What daily ritual, even a tiny one, would change everything? What identity would emerge if you honored your practices the way monks honor their vows? Remember this moral line. Your future is not built by what you do occasionally. It is built by who you choose to be every single day. 4. Stop absorbing emotional negativity. Let it pass like clouds. What if the negativity you fight isn't the real problem? What if the true suffering comes from allowing it to enter your inner world? Sit with that thought for a moment, as if listening to distant thunder. In the quiet language of Buddhist wisdom, we are reminded, not every storm belongs inside you. Yet so often, we take the storms of others and place them inside our own chest, letting their darkness shape our mood, our decisions, our peace. In Buddhist philosophy, the mind is not meant to cling to every passing emotion. It is a sky, vast, spacious, untouchable. Thoughts, fears, and negativity are only clouds moving across it. They come, they shift, they dissolve. The problem arises when we forget we are the sky and start identifying with the clouds. We absorb words that weren't meant for us, emotions that weren't born in us, and judgments that never belonged to us. And slowly, what was once a clear inner space becomes cluttered with storms we didn't create. In our modern lives, negativity arrives in many forms. A harsh message, a stressful workplace, family tensions, the constant comparison fed through screens. Without awareness, we absorb these energies until they become invisible weights. We react quickly, carry resentment silently, and feel drained by things that were never our responsibility. But Buddhist practice offers a gentle alternative: to observe without absorbing. Imagine now that your emotions drift like slow-moving clouds. Some are dark, some are light, some pass by quietly, and some roar with intensity. But you remain untouched, unchanged. This visualization isn't escapism, it's freedom. It teaches the mind to pause before personalizing everything. When negativity arises, instead of reacting, you breathe. Instead of absorbing, you witness. You allow the cloud to pass without letting it settle into your heart. To apply this habit, try moments of stillness throughout the day. When someone's words sting, ask yourself, is this mine to carry? When your mind tightens with irritation, imagine stepping back, seeing the emotion rather than becoming it. And when fear, anger, or frustration appear, whisper inwardly, this is a cloud, I am the sky. With practice, you begin to choose which emotions enter and which simply pass by. Reflect with honesty. Whose emotions are you carrying that aren't yours? What negativity triggers you the fastest? And what would happen if you observed instead of absorbed? Hold this final truth close. Peace isn't found by controlling every storm. It's found by refusing to let every storm enter your inner world. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, I am unstoppable. 5. Build habits that serve the future, not the past. If your habits are chosen by the person you used to be, how will your future ever evolve? Let that question echo softly within you, as if carried by a warm evening breeze. Buddhist wisdom teaches that transformation is not an event, it is a pattern. Your habits reveal who you're becoming long before your results do. And if your habits come from an outdated self, your destiny becomes a repetition instead of a rebirth. The past mind creates habits based on fear, survival, and old stories. It chooses comfort over growth, familiarity over possibility. But Buddhism reminds us that every moment is a fresh field, untouched by yesterday's mistakes. Yet many still plant seeds from last year's harvest, repeating the same thoughts, the same reactions, the same routines. And then they wonder why nothing new grows. Your life cannot expand when your habits are rooted in who you were, not who you wish to become. In the world we live in, most habits are formed unconsciously. Scrolling when anxious, overthinking when uncertain, avoiding when overwhelmed. These are not personality traits, they're simply old strategies. But if you truly want a new chapter, your habits must be chosen consciously, with the clarity of someone building a future, not clinging to a past. Ask yourself, are your daily actions aligned with the life you pray for, or the life you're trying to escape? To shift this, imagine placing a single seed into warm soil. But this time, don't picture the plant you've always expected. Instead, see it sprout into a version of you you've never met, stronger, calmer, more disciplined, more awake. Each habit you build waters that version. Each old habit you release loosens the grip of the past. Change does not come through force, it comes through alignment. A future-focused habit might be a morning of silence, a commitment to learning, a healthier routine, or a daily act of courage. Whatever it is, let it be chosen from who you want to become, not who you've been. Practical wisdom says, start by identifying the one habit that ties you most tightly to your old life. Replace it with a small ritual that your highest self would choose, a ritual rooted in clarity, not impulse. With time, these small choices accumulate, forming a quiet but powerful identity shift. Because habits do not just shape your days, they shape your destiny. Reflect gently now. Which habit keeps you tied to your old life? What habit would your highest self choose? Who are you becoming with today's actions? And remember this guiding truth. When your habits begin serving your future instead of your past, your entire life starts to bloom in ways you never imagined. 6. Rebuild yourself from the inside out. Why do so many people try to change their lives from the outside when Buddhism has always whispered the same quiet truth? All real transformation is an inner construction. Sit with that question as if sitting beside a monk at dusk. In the stillness, you can almost hear the teaching. A strong inner foundation survives any storm. And this is the 6th habit, to rebuild yourself from the inside out, long before the world ever sees the result. In Buddhist wisdom, a temple is not defined by the stones you see, but by the hidden pillars buried beneath the ground. Without those unseen pillars, the most beautiful structure collapses. In the same way, your outer life, your achievements, relationships, habits, dreams, can only rise as high as the strength of your inner world. Yet most people do the opposite. They rearrange their environment, change routines, chase new opportunities, hoping life will shift. But the cracks remain because the rebuilding must begin within. Think about how often modern life pressures us to fix the surface: our schedule, our appearance, our surroundings, while our beliefs, wounds, and emotional patterns stay untouched. When the inner world is unstable, even small stresses shake everything. But when the inner foundation is steady, difficulties become teachers, not threats. Imagine waking each day knowing that no matter what happens around you, there is a temple inside your chest that does not crumble. Now visualize this clearly. See yourself building that temple, stone by stone, breath by breath. Each mindful moment becomes a pillar. Each healed belief becomes a new wall. Each act of forgiveness becomes a doorway. You are not repairing an old structure. You are creating a sanctuary where strength and peace can coexist. When you rebuild internally, the external world gradually aligns, not through force, but through natural harmony. To practice this habit, begin with gentle introspection. Ask yourself, what part of your inner world needs rebuilding first? Is it your confidence, your emotional balance, your discipline, your self-worth? Then look for the beliefs within you that are cracked but repairable. The old stories you've carried, the doubts you've inherited, the fears you've outgrown. Strengthen one inner pillar at a time by choosing thoughts that support your growth instead of your limitations. Rebuilding from the inside is not quick, but it is sacred work. The world may not notice immediately, but your spirit will. And with time, everything around you begins to reflect the stability you have created within. Reflect now. What inner world are you constructing? What belief must be repaired? And what pillar inside you needs strengthening today? Hold this moral truth close. When you rebuild within, the life outside you has no choice but to rise with you. 7. Choose stillness when life pulls you into chaos. What if stillness isn't a retreat, but your hidden power, the one force that remains steady even when life pulls you into chaos? Sit with that possibility for a moment, as if listening to the soft hum of evening. In Buddhist wisdom, stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of awareness. The quieter you are, the more the world reveals itself. And this revelation begins the moment you learn to return to yourself. Life today tugs at your attention from every direction: noise, urgency, stress, expectations. Without realizing it, your mind becomes like a lake trembling in a storm, unable to reflect the truth beneath its surface. But a lake only reflects the sky when it stops trembling. In that reflection, clarity returns. In that clarity, wisdom is born. This is the 7th habit. Choose stillness, not as an escape, but as a form of inner alignment. Modern chaos often feels unavoidable. Deadlines, conversations, inner conflicts, emotional storms. But Buddhist practice invites you to create a small space between the world and your reaction. When everything around you speeds up, you slow down. When your mind tightens, you breathe deeper. When chaos demands urgency, you choose intention. This shift is subtle, almost invisible to others, yet transformative to your inner world. To embody this habit, imagine your breath smoothing the surface of a lake. With each inhale, the water becomes calmer. With each exhale, it becomes clearer. Practice this throughout your day, during a difficult conversation, before sending a message you may regret, or when the weight of expectations presses against your chest. Stillness is not a luxury. It is a skill, a discipline of returning home to yourself. Create pockets of silence even in the busiest moments. 1 minute before you rise from bed, 3 breaths before you speak, a few steps walked slowly before you enter a stressful room. These moments accumulate, forming a sanctuary within you that chaos cannot break. Over time, you begin to notice something remarkable. Stillness doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you. It gives you the power to respond, not react, to see, not assume, to understand, not fear. Reflect gently. When does your mind become most chaotic? What does inner stillness feel like in your body? And where can you create small pockets of silence each day? Hold this truth close. When you choose stillness in chaos, you do not retreat from life. You rise above it. 8. Stop seeking validation. Become your own witness. How much of your suffering comes from trying to be seen instead of simply seeing yourself? Let that question settle in your heart like a soft echo. Buddhist wisdom teaches that freedom begins when approval ends. Yet so many of us shape our lives around the eyes of others, forgetting that true transformation happens when we finally become our own witness. In this world, validation has become a silent addiction. We measure our worth through reactions, compliments, likes, and expectations. But consider this: a tree does not grow straighter because someone claps for it. It grows because it follows its nature, reaching upward, silently, steadily. The same truth waits for you. The strength you seek will never come from being seen. It comes from seeing yourself with honesty and compassion. In daily life, this craving for validation hides in subtle places. You silence your real opinions to avoid conflict. You chase achievements that impress others but do not fulfill you. You abandon your needs to maintain an image. Each act pulls you further away from your inner path, leaving you exhausted and fragmented. But Buddhism offers a different way, a return to self-witnessing, where your worth is not borrowed from the world, but discovered within your own awareness. Imagine now that you stand alone in a quiet forest. No applause, no judgment, just your breath and your truth. Feel the relief of not performing. Feel the weight that disappears when you stop trying to be enough for someone else. This visualization invites you back to your center, a place untouched by comparison, untouched by public opinion. Here, your sincerity becomes your guide. To practice this habit, pause before seeking reassurance and ask, what do I think? What do I feel? Trust the answer that rises. Spend moments each day in solitude, even 2 minutes, to return to yourself. Make decisions that reflect your inner values, not external pressures. Each time you choose authenticity over approval, you strengthen your spine, your voice, your path. Reflect with gentleness. Whose approval controls your life right now? Where are you abandoning yourself just to feel accepted? And what truth would you finally live if no one judged you for it? Hold this final insight like a warm ember. Your life changes the moment you stop performing for the world and begin witnessing the quiet, powerful truth of who you already are. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I am unstoppable." 9. Walk away from what weakens you without apology. What if the life you want is just one boundary away? Hold that question softly, the way a monk holds incense between his fingers, aware that even a small shift in direction can change the entire fragrance of a life. In Buddhism, we learn that suffering often begins not with what we face, but with what we continue to allow. Peace arrives the moment you stop fighting for what drains you. Tonight, let that line settle into you like warm light. There comes a moment when you must choose the strength of your spirit over the comfort of your patterns. Walking away is not abandonment, it is wisdom. A warrior does not swing at shadows, he chooses his battles with intention. Yet many people keep battling what weakens them Old friendships that steal their joy, habits that exhaust their energy, environments that suffocate their growth. They stay, hoping it will someday feel lighter. But Buddhist teaching whispers, liberation begins the moment you turn your back on what no longer nourishes your inner world. In today's world, we're taught to hold on, to be agreeable, to not offend, to keep peace even when it costs our own. And without noticing, we apologize for choosing ourselves. But imagine placing one hand gently on your heart and taking one step backward from anything heavy. A draining conversation, a toxic routine, a self-limiting belief. Feel the space that step creates. Feel the breath that returns. This is the beginning of reclaiming your life. To apply this habit, start by identifying the weight in your life. Notice the people you dread messaging back, the commitments that leave you empty, the habits that steal time without giving anything meaningful in return. Then practice one simple ritual, a silent internal bow. It means honoring what an experience taught you and exiting without guilt. Not every connection is meant to stay. Not every path is meant to continue. Not every version of you is meant to survive the journey ahead. Walking away is an act of deep self-respect. It does not make you cold. It makes you clear. It does not make you selfish. It makes you whole. And the moment you protect your energy, your peace begins to rebuild itself like a quiet sunrise. Reflect softly now. What drains you most right now? What would walking away give you? Where is your peace asking for space? Hold this final truth in your heart. You do not need to apologize for choosing a life that nourishes your soul. Your peace is your birthright. Walk toward it without hesitation. Bonus lesson. Become the person your future self will thank you for. If your future self could visit you today, what would they beg you to change? Sit with that question softly, as if a warm lantern has been placed in the center of your chest. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, a better life begins with a better you. Not a future you, but the version you choose to shape in this very moment. The bonus lesson is simple yet life-altering. Become the person your future self will thank you for. So many people chase a different life while remaining the same person. They want peace without discipline, confidence without practice, transformation without inner reconstruction. But the future is a doorway, and only your present self holds the key. The path ahead will open, not because time passes, but because you evolve into someone capable of walking through it. In the modern world, we often think tomorrow will fix everything. Next month, I'll start. When the situation changes, when I feel ready. But Buddhism teaches that readiness is born from small, consistent steps taken today. Not dramatic leaps, simple acts of alignment. Your future self isn't waiting for perfection. They're waiting for effort. They're waiting for courage. They're waiting for the moment you stop postponing the life that calls your name. Imagine now a visualization. See the highest version of yourself standing just a few steps ahead, calmer, stronger, wiser, deeply grounded. Picture them placing a gentle hand on your shoulder. Feel their steady breath, their quiet assurance. They're not asking for miracles, only for one shift in your direction. One habit, one choice, one moment of alignment that bridges who you are with who you can become. To apply this lesson, choose one future-shaping habit. A daily moment of silence, a practice of honesty, a ritual of learning, a commitment to health, or a boundary that protects your peace. Let this habit become a signal to the universe, a declaration that you are no longer living on autopilot. Start imagining every action as a conversation with your future self. When you procrastinate, they grow silent. When you act with intention, they smile. Reflect deeply now. Who is the future self waiting for you to become? What habit could bridge this gap? And what must you do today, not tomorrow, to honor the life you dream of? Carry this final truth with you like a sacred vow. Your future isn't built by chance. It is built by the version of you who chooses to rise here and now. Quick summary of the principles. Stop negotiating with your old self. Your old identity resists change because it is built on familiar habits and fears. Growth begins the moment you stop arguing with the weaker version of yourself. Every excuse you repeat is a doorway back into your old life. Choose the version of you that moves forward, not the one that pulls you back. Guard your focus like a sacred flame. Your attention determines the quality of your life, yet most people let it scatter into noise. When you guard your focus, you protect your energy, your clarity, and your future. Every distraction you feed becomes karma. What you consistently focus on becomes your destiny. Become consistent like a monk, not motivated. Like a beginner, motivation fades quickly, but discipline creates transformation. Monks build their life on daily rituals that anchor the mind. When you remove negotiation and simply show up, change becomes inevitable. Consistency is the invisible foundation that leads to mastery. Stop absorbing emotional negativity. You suffer more from absorbing negativity than from experiencing it. When you stop internalizing every irritation, criticism, and emotional storm, peace naturally rises. Observing your emotions instead of owning them breaks cycles of reactivity. Your life shifts the moment you stop taking everything personally. Build habits that serve the future, not the past. Your current habits reflect who you used to be, not who you want to become. Choosing habits aligned with your future self accelerates transformation. Every day is a vote for the person you wish to embody. Your future is constructed by the actions you repeat today. Rebuild yourself from the inside out. External change cannot last without inner reconstruction. Buddhist teachings remind us that transformation begins with mindset, belief, and emotional clarity. When you strengthen your inner world, your outer world naturally rearranges. Your life improves as your inner foundation becomes unshakable. Choose stillness. When life pulls you into chaos, stillness is an active strength, not a passive escape. When you return to calmness, your mind becomes clear and your decisions become wise. Chaos outside loses its power when the chaos inside quiets. Stillness reconnects you with your true nature. Stop seeking validation. Become your own witness. Seeking approval weakens your authenticity and drains your energy. True confidence comes when you become your own witness, seeing yourself clearly without external judgment. When you detach from validation, you act from truth rather than fear. Freedom begins where validation ends. Walk away from what weakens you. Without apology, peace requires boundaries. You are not obligated to stay in situations, habits, or relationships that drain your life force. Walking away is an act of strength, not avoidance. Every step away from what weakens you is a step toward the life you deserve. Become the person your future self will thank you for. Your future self is shaped by every choice you make today. Acting with long-term clarity opens doors that shortcuts never will. Every disciplined action is a gift to the person you are becoming. Your future transforms when your present becomes intentional. Life changes the moment your relationship with yourself changes. When you shift your habits, your patterns, and your inner dialogue, the world outside bends to match your new strength. Buddhism reminds us that transformation is not sudden. It is a quiet accumulation of disciplined choices, small awakenings, and returning to yourself again and again. You do not become new by wishing. You become new by choosing. Every step taken with clarity becomes a step toward peace. Every habit aligned with your higher self becomes a doorway to a calmer, wiser, more powerful life. If today becomes the day you choose yourself, your future will unfold with effortless grace. Carry this truth gently. What you repeat, you become. And ask yourself quietly, which part of you will you strengthen next? Like and share this video, share your opinion in the comment box, and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful life.